Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are on the Cali Reseller Luis's channel, and we got a special guest. But first, this is my co-host. If you don't know him, this is Luis. I couldn't do the show without him. I am the Lone Star Picker. And down below, guess who we have, Luis?
Hey, we got eBay Addicts in the house.
Hey, what's up, guys?
This is
Thanks
Jeff, a.k.a. Jeff. Cool. Give a little introduction, Jeff. Tell us about yourself.
If you guys don't know me, my name is Jeff, and I am a reseller and a courier, and I guess now I'm a YouTuber. So, and I live in Tampa, and like I said, I guess I have a full-time job, and I'm basically, if you don't know what a medical courier is, it means I'm basically like a glorified taxi driver for boxes. So that's kind of what I do. Is I do that job, and then I have my 2 eBay stores, and then I have my YouTube channel, which is called eBay Addicts. And it's similar to what you guys have. I have new guests on every week, and we help promote resellers. We help promote entrepreneurship. We basically celebrate entrepreneurs. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I do.
I love it. And thank you for having Luis and me on, at least once on your show. And what you're doing is a service to everybody here. And this works, Luis. Leave it like this. If you don't mind, Jeff, we're going to give you the great.
I'm not camera shy, so
you need to put a crown on and do like Biggie.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, I started off a YouTube channel just like everybody else, doing sourcing videos, doing what sold videos, things like that. And after a while, I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, man, what am I actually showing people by showing you, say, hey, I bought this item for 50 cents and selling it for $15? Like, what does that do for you? Like you're in Texas and Cali Reseller Luis is in California. So the odds of him coming across the same exact item that I picked up in Florida on the other side of the country for 50 cents and selling it for $15 is slim to none, So I just thought about it. And so my goal originally was just to get 1,000 subscribers. And then once I got up to that point, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to get my 4,000 hours of watch time shooting 5-10 minute videos. It's going to take me forever. So I just started doing live streams, and I thought it would work out best for everybody because I was like, hey, I could bring in new people in the community. We can hear their stories, hear where they came from, how they got started, and help push other content creators. And then the people want to come in, that they want to be able to get to know new people who they've never met before. So that
was the inception. You're like, let's see what we can do. And it help. What I mean, it helps you because all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm a content creator, but this is a lot of work. I got to not only get the hours, but I got to, you got to put a little thing. And what you're doing is a service to everybody. It's not just a back scratch. It's just you get to learn. It's like a double-edged sword. So that's a very mindful way. It's like, like you said, like Luis all the time, we'll be like sharing, like you came in when I was sharing some shirts and I was just talking real quick. One of the few times we get to catch up because we're both busy through the week, but all of a sudden he'll come back next week and goes, oh, I got this. I'm like, you got the same shirt I did, but he paid like only 50 cents for it and I paid $5,
Right. Well, another thing is, it's like, if you think about, if you go to the gym and you hire a personal trainer to come work you out, it's almost like that, because I get new ideas and influences from other people that are things that I never would have thought about before, because I've been in my own little niche selling CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, video games. And now I'm starting to branch out after talking to other content creators. I'm like, hey, let me go try and sell some shoes. Let me run in here.
And it's not that you're like, oh, I love shoes, but you're like, oh, and that aspect of it, that's easy. I can do that,
Right.
Like, describe
how
they get across it.
I had this guest on last week. His name was eBay Posh Man, and he was telling me all about how he buys shoes and resells them. So, for example, I just picked these up at Ross. You can see the price tag. It is $17, and they sell on eBay for $150. And had I not met this guy, and they're brand new, you don't have to do any cleaning or testing of the products. They're brand new. And had I never met this guy, I would never have thought, like, hey, let's stop in here to Ross or Marshall's and see if I can find some shoes to resell on eBay. It just wasn't
like you're like, okay, it's lunchtime. I got a half an hour before I can pick up this product. Because everybody, if you don't know Jeff, eBay Addicts, by the way, his information's down below. You guys, he has his YouTube. Check him out if you don't know him. And hold on a second, Jack. To say hi to some people in the chat real quick.
Go ahead.
Then,
I can't see the chat, but go ahead. I'll try to pull it up on my phone so I can follow the chat. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you can say hi after we say their name, but also his Instagram too. And Jeff is very active on Instagram, and that is another aspect of being a content creator. All right, you want me to do, or how do you want to do it?
No, we can do it. It's fine.
Okay. Well, we got Cajun Roots Reseller was the first one here. He gets a moon pie, and
hey Johnny,
check out his bingo afterwards. And yeah, you've had Cajun on your channel once, haven't you yet?
Yeah, he's been on twice, and he just recently hit 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations to Cajun Roots Reseller. He just recently got monetized, and so whatever you can do, because he puts in a ton of hours on YouTube, guys. You guys have no idea. And so
before that, he was already 4,000 long before he got his 1,000.
He had already had his watch time hours in, and he recently hit 1,000 subscribers last week. So props to you, Cajun Roots Reseller. We're all happy for you.
Yeah,
and I wanted to say hey to Wendy is here. Hey, Wendy.
Hey, hello, Wendy. Happy Monday. Hot Mess Thrifter.
Hello, Amy.
Hey.
She says hi to you, but not me, Luis. Not There is the Philly Flipper just coming back from Kentucky.
I just saw them on Instagram. They were all at that reseller rally meetup in Cincinnati.
Yeah. A lot of them got to go.
Yeah. I'm all the way in Florida. That would have been like a 14-hour drive for me each way. Yeah. So I'll have to catch the next one, but I hope you guys had a great trip.
Yeah, hope everybody had a good trip. This is just stopped in to show support and hit that thumbs up. Like Johnny said, he knows it. When you
Thank you, Johnny.
You can hit the thumbs down. It's all just activity. Hey, Jen. Jen's Closet Gems. Straight from
Jen.
Tony. Have you had her on your show yet?
I have.
Yeah,
and
Jen, twice? Oh, once. Okay.
Once. I've tried to reach out to her. You know how it is. Everybody has different schedules, but I actually just reached out to her last weekend and said, hey, Jen, we need to catch up. When are you free? And she's like, I don't know yet. I said, well, whenever you're free, you let me know.
Yeah.
Simply Dana. I haven't had Dana on yet, but I see Dana all the time. I run into her in the chats every week.
We're gonna get her with her little moniker or whatever, and she can come on as comfortable as she wants. But she promised us her review. So
really? Okay. So
we're gonna get a review. Her beautiful face is gonna be explored. So all right. RKR 1964. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Jen.
Antique from Kara Janet. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, Janet.
Janet.
All right. Here's a question for Jeff from Wendy. She says, Jeff, my question, where are you and Manny at in the competition?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I am getting my butt kicked. We having a little friendly competition. Both me and my brother are both trying to get to 10,000 active items in our store.
Nice.
And I have 2 eBay stores. And between both of my eBay stores, I'm right at 6,500. And I think he's at 7,100. So I'm about 600 items in the hole right now because I'm usually working my job 6-7 days a week. I'm trying to produce content. I'm shooting YouTube videos. I'm doing other things. He doesn't have YouTube. He could just sit home and just crank out and list items. So at the moment I'm behind. So, but I don't worry. I'll catch up to him.
I was gonna say, knowing you. So and then Jeff has a great channel. Let's keep going, Luis, and that way we can get to talk to Jeff here. Adam Hart is here. He says, hey, all. Good to see you, Adam Hart, man-made. Glad to have you. Ebless says, Jeff does his homework on his guests. The reselling community appreciates his effort. I agree with that. It's Dave and Lori both on that channel. Yeah, I want to say that about you doing that is, like I said, it's simple to say you're doing a service, but if people really get that, it is, it's interesting because there's so many of us and it's like, I heard about that person, but I never got to see him. And, I hate to admit it, I don't like to miss when you have your show, but at least I'll go back and rewatch it. And I appreciate you doing it because that's the nice thing about doing a live. You can record it, it comes back, and it gives everybody a chance to afford. And the new people that come to your channel will, hey, what's this all about? Because you put the information at the bottom. Karen Bam.
I appreciate Dave and Lori for saying that. Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of editing on my channel, but I do my homework. When I have a guest on, sometimes when I'm driving in my car or running around doing errands, I'll watch and do my homework. And sometimes I'll take 2 or 3 hours out of my day the day before doing homework on the guest before I have them on because I don't want to just be
you have to watch videos and you got to think about what you're going to ask them.
Yeah, you kind of have to study them a little bit because it's like I couldn't have you on, Louie, and be like, hey, Louie, so you live in Texas, huh? And that would just be it. Like, what else can we talk about?
Let's talk about oil wells and Longhorns.
We've had you on the show before and everything went well, but I'm just saying, like, if I didn't do the homework, and I'm just be like, so tell me about yourself. I
will say this much about you. I love everybody that what you see is what you get right now with Jeff. Like, he is full of vivacious energy, which is great because he's not boring. But the thing about it is he not only does his homework, but he asks good questions. where do you like to come up with those questions? Like, what kind of questions? Because I'm asking, and Luis and I would like to know, as a host, what kind of questions do you find compelling? Because we don't like to disturb people like rotten questions.
I like putting people on the hot seats. Like we had Baldy Pal Pickett on a couple weeks ago, and I asked Baldy Pal Pickett, I said, "Hey, tell me who your favorite guest is you've had on your YouTube channel." And he was kind of, because none of this stuff is like scripted ahead of time, so he's kind of like squirming in his pants a little bit because
I love everybody.
Right, he doesn't want to he can't say everybody, and I'm like, you can't say me because I wasn't a guest on your show, and I kind of like to put him on the hot seat a little bit. And he just
my favorite guest is my mom. When she comes on.
So we have a great time bringing new people on. Matter of fact, I have a new guest coming on tomorrow. His name's Kevin. So if you guys want to come by and hang out, we'll have a new guest on tomorrow. Awesome. Go ahead, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out today.
Entrepreneurs here, Luis. We got Maria. You got to check out Maria. She's a new reseller. Check her out. She'd be a good person to interview too. Chosen good reseller. Woohoo! She says.
Hello, Annette.
Hey, Aqua Girl. Thanks for stopping by today.
I always forget Annette's name. There's Cameron. He came back too.
Man, if you guys don't follow Cameron on Instagram, you're missing out, man. I had this photo. And it was him, and he was over there with Mr. Buys a lot, and he had this big sword, like he was gonna stab him with his sword, man. I laughed and laughed. Like, you saw Brian's face. He was like, "Huh?
He's
you
like,
hit
whoa.
me with that sword? Like, what do you?" It was so.
Brian likes to joke, but Brian's like, "Wait a minute, that's a weapon." Although I heard him on his auctions, Brian jokes about murder and stuff like that, and he goes, "Well, we have proof here because I'm on live, and if like, what are you talking about?" But yeah, they all have great channels.
What's up, man?
Great, Javelina.
Hey, Annie is here. What's up, Annie? How are you doing?
Well, thanks for being here, Jeff. So, like, that's a good phase, like, into the whole aspect of a quandary. A quandary is the way you're gonna like question something. You really, but like, what are questions that you try to avoid so that you can be?
I don't really want to talk about people's religion, politics. Stuff that they got going on with their family or whatever. I try to avoid that. I try to avoid people's sports teams. We're going to talk about real topics that involves people's lives. I like talking about people's backstories of how they got started into reselling, who their favorite, resellers are to watch, give people tips, tricks, advice, things like that. Like, I'll tell you a story. Like, I first got started into reselling. I was a forklift driver, and that was my job. I was working at General Electric. Yeah, I was a young guy. I got hired there in 2006. So I was like 22, 23-year-old kid. I got hired at General Electric. It's a big factory in Louisville, Kentucky, where they make washers, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, all these things. And so my job was to be a forklift driver. And that was my job from 2006 to 2016. And one day, I don't know how or why, I was watching a YouTube video of these people, and his YouTube channel is called Gill Daddy. He doesn't make many videos anymore, but his YouTube channel is called it was Gill Daddy and Gill Mama. And what they would do is they would go to the Goodwill bins, and they would stock their whole van full of merchandise, and they would we spent $150, $200 here at the Goodwill bins, and we're going to make $1,000, $2,000 worth of stuff. And so they would have
one of the first reasons that you like really kind of got that itchy scratch. You're like, wait a minute. I don't have to just drive the forklift, or I can do that part-time or whatever, but I can make extra money.
Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer Hayes, for dropping my link. I appreciated you. But up until that point, I was working 4 o'clock at night till like 4:30 in the morning, 10, 12-hour days driving a forklift. And my job was to load TE appliances in the back of these semi-trucks, and they would get shipped to Sears and Lowe's and Home Depot and things like that. And one time or another, I came across this YouTube video, and it was called, this was probably maybe 2015, and it was called Gill Daddy. You can search him up on YouTube, and they would go to all these different locations to pick up merchandise to resell. And he would say, hey, we've been here for, throughout the day or a couple of hours getting this merchandise. And he's like, we're going to make $1,000 profit on this deal. Wow. And they were selling, they would get a blender and part it out. They would get vacuum cleaner hoses and stuff.
I love that they could part that out.
Yeah. And so they would say, hey, we made $1,000 of all this merchandise that we got at the Goodwill bins. And I sit here and I'm thinking, here I am, still a young guy, probably in my late 20s, early 30s. And I'm thinking, man, for me to come home and net $1,000, how many hours I had to work in the factory driving this forklift. And so I got interested into it. And then as soon as I saw this video, I texted my brother. I was like, hey, dude, you have to check out this YouTube channel from these people of GillDaddy and check it out. And he went and checked it out.
Real quick, Jeff. Yeah. So is GillDaddy still going?
He has a YouTube channel. I think he has like 20,000 subscribers, but he hasn't uploaded a video in months. So that's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to pick up where he left off and see if I can kind of push this thing forward. So anyways, at my job, you know, I'm working a union job, driving a forklift. I'm like, man, how many hours do I have to put into this factory driving a forklift to bring home $1,000? Because every time I get a paycheck, you're having to pay your union dues, health insurance, 401k, state, local, federal taxes, life insurance, health insurance, all this stuff taken out of your check. So when you first get your check, it may say $1,600, $1,800 gross. But by the time they get done with you, you're bringing home maybe 900 or 1,000 of that. And that's working your tail off. Yeah, and that's working your tail off in 100-degree heat in this factory, 10, 12-hour days. So when I started watching this video, I was like, man, wonder if there's something to this. So I went out the very next day, went to this Goodwill and thrift stores, and started just grabbing stuff off the shelf, looking it up, and started scanning barcodes and started looking things up. And ever since then, I've been reselling on eBay pretty much ever since.
Where do you get your ambition and drive? Because I've never. I mean, I'm telling you this, Jeff. There's a lot of folks that I watch on YouTube, and their passion talking about it's really good. You know, it's there. You have a drive, like you really, like you're driven, and I notice you don't slow down. Like it seems like you got to have that multiple sources of income. You think it out. I want to say, where did you start your problem solving?
Well, I'll tell you a little backstory. So at that time, back in 2015, 2016, I was working my job at General Electric driving a forklift. Then I would get off from work, and then I had a newspaper route, and I would do my newspaper route. And then on Saturday, Sundays, I would go work at Papa John's delivering pizza. And then I would go do Uber and Lyft on the side, and I would be reselling on eBay. So every week, I had 5 different checks coming in every week, no matter what. So I had my job at GE. I had my newspaper route. I had my job on the weekends, believe it or not, delivering pizza at Papa John's and stuff on Saturday, Sundays. Between the money you would make in tips and the money you would make on your check, you would make $400 in 2 days, just on Saturday and Sundays. Wow. And then so I had my General Electric paycheck. I had my newspaper route check. I had my pizza delivery job. I was driving for Lyft and Uber, and then I was still selling stuff on eBay. And you're just going to have to make it work. People that have full-time jobs, I mean, I would go out on my lunch break and I would be, you know, I would go to the library and print off shipping labels, ship out all my packages on my lunch break, get something to eat, and still make it back in 30 minutes. You just gotta want it, man. But as far as being a driven person, when I grew up, and my parents were divorced when I was a young kid. I mean, I was probably maybe 8, and my dad was a pastor, and my mom just woke up and was like, "Hey, I'm not happy anymore in this relationship. I don't want to do this anymore." My mom and dad are complete opposite people. They're like night and day difference. So they just weren't happy, and they got a divorce. And so when they got a divorce, you know, my mom didn't have my dad as a breadwinner in the house paying bills anymore. And my dad, he was paying child support for 3 kids. So you have to understand, both my mom and my dad growing up, both of them were working 2 jobs to pay the bills. Wow. And so, because my mom at that point, she's trying to raise 3 kids on her own. She's constantly working 2 jobs. My dad, he's having to pay child support now for 3 kids. So he was the breadwinner, but all this extra money that he was making, by the time he got done paying,
hard work is a way to go. I mean,
right.
It was like,
yeah. So by the time he got done paying all of his bills and all of his expenses, and plus paying child support for 3 kids out of his check, I mean, you know, in Kentucky where I was growing up, if you don't pay that child support money, you get locked up and go to jail. There's no. Yeah,
Kentucky has a stigma. I want to say it has a stereotype, but I think there's a little bit of fact in there. Kentucky is, as far as the top 50. Thank you for pulling it up, Luis. I was going to say we're going to get into this question in a minute, but Kentucky does have one of the lowest income demographics. Like it's not one of the richest states in the country.
Yeah, the education level is really high. There's a lot of, as I lived there for 30 years, there was a lot of drugs and crime and gangs and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons when the company I worked in 2016, once they kind of shut down and called it quits, well, what happened was they got bought out by this Chinese company called Harrier. And once they got out by this Chinese company, they said, hey, we're outsourcing your whole department. So if you want to stay here, you can work and you can go work on the assembly line for $30,000 a year, or you can go find a new job. And I'm like, bro, I've been here for 10 years. I've worked my way up in this company. I've been here for 10 years. I'm not going back on the assembly line. If you're going to outsource, because I was making $80,000 a year driving a forklift. So I'm like, I'm not going to go from 80,000 to 30,000 and be in this 100-degree heat working on the assembly line. I'm not doing it. So
let's answer this question real quick here. We got, it says, Jeff, how many? Do you and Manny how did you and Manny get started in the medical courier business? Do you make more money since you work nights and holidays?
Sure. I'll tell you the story about how that happened. It was actually, I told you guys I was delivering pizza, and I was actually delivering pizza one night at a hospital because one of the patients or one of the people working there wanted a pizza delivered there. So I delivered a pizza at the hospital, and I ran into this guy, and he was a courier. Well, at that time, in my brain, all the people that were couriers, I thought were people that were like worked directly for the hospital. Like they were either contracted or subcontracted and worked for the hospital. I didn't know at that time that you could be a third party person and have an app on your phone and make up your own work schedule and work whenever you want to work and be off when you want to be off.
Yep.
So I ran into this guy at the hospital, and he was like, hey, Bob, because I ran into him and I just saw him because I saw his shirt didn't say like Jewish hospital or one of those things on his shirt. And I just ran into him by happenstance at this hospital and asked him some questions. And I was like, hey, man, how are you doing? And we were both in the elevater.
So let me ask you this, Jeff. You didn't pin him down. You didn't grab his shoulders and push him against the wall. Answer my question.
No, I'm a big guy, but we just happened to meet. Just happenstance. We were in the elevator. I was delivering this pizza, and he was delivering medical supplies at this hospital, and we were in the elevator, and I just struck up a conversation. It was just one of those things where I looked over at him, and he looked over at me,
and I said, I want to know this information.
Right. And I was just like, hey, how are you doing? How was your day going? And I was like, oh, it's rough. Traffic's crazy out there, And I'm like, yeah, it's been crazy out here today.
And he probably appreciated. That's the great thing is like, just ask a question. If he doesn't have the answer, then you already asked that question because you want to know. You go to the next person. Because this guy could have been busy and this and that, but he probably said, wow, somebody wants to know about what I do, because what you do is you're pretty much the solo man. You're in the car, like you said, you're an executive driver because you have to make sure you maintain the integrity of your transportation of what you have, what like what's the most expensive thing you've had to transport? Like
I don't know. I don't really ask a lot of questions. They have all kind of stuff. Probably the most expensive stuff that we transport is human organs. If you don't know, on the black market, some of these human organs can be really expensive. But I don't ask any questions. All the stuff's in boxes. The only thing I look at on the app is they may call me or text me, and it may be midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they'll text me and say, hey, Jeff, we just had this run come in. Can you go? Because I live in Tampa. They'll say, can you go from Tampa to Orlando and from Orlando back to Tampa? And if you say yes, they give you a 6-hour window to deliver it. They tell you the pickup location, the delivery location, and they'll say, hey, we'll pay you $100 for your time. And
everything's got to be like a discrepancy of privacy too. Like, I mean, one, because for security, two, because this is about somebody's health, a law.
Yeah. You can't like this. You can't disclose like patient's personal information. But anyways, it'll say on your app, and they'll say, hey, do you want to work? Yes or no? And they'll say, here's the pickup location. Here's the delivery location. You have 6 hours to get it there. Do you want it? And you just say yes or no. And so, like I said, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, honestly, I'll probably make between 80 and 100,000 a year just working for the courier company. Because I mean, I showed you guys my paycheck stubs. Like last week, it was $1,864, which would be, if you did that every week, that would be $96,000 a year. But it fluctuates. It changes every week. But I like it because
there's times where you want to go on vacation or you just need some time off because you've been going crazy. That's another thing. Let's talk about mental well-being real quick because our time. You and I love to talk a lot.
Go ahead, Louie. Whatever you want to talk about.
What does Jeff do to take care of himself? Like, how do you get downtime? Do you do it? And what do you do for like exercise or eating properly and things like that? Because these are things that must run through your head. You sit in a car all day. You're a thinker. So what do you like to talk about mental strategies, which we've talked a little bit about, but what mental well-being do have concerns with? Let's just say.
I don't really have. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty healthy as far as well-being, but my family and everybody else gets on my case because they want me to eat healthier foods and exercise more. But as far as me,
yeah, I didn't mean like personally, like, you know, like for your health, but I mean like, you know, because we all have that in their mind, like I need to eat a balanced diet, you know, at least something good today.
I don't know.
Fruit with you?
When I have free time and I'm not working for the courier company or shooting YouTube videos or working on my eBay store, believe it or not, I'll play video games. So I do that sometimes in my free time. A lot of my cousins and stuff like that, we'll get online and play Call of Duty together. I've actually sometime this summer, I'm thinking about starting a second YouTube channel of just playing video games. Because I've seen, believe it or not, I saw this guy on. He had a YouTube channel, and believe it or not, Louie, he logged in for 2 hours, on his live stream playing a video game, and he had over $600 in super chats in 2 hours on his live stream. And he only logged in for
video games. For video games,
he was only live for 2 hours. So I was like, hold on. So I just went out recently. I bought a new chair, like a new gaming chair, and I bought a new desk. So probably sometime this summer, because it's free to start a YouTube channel. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. So I may do that and start a second YouTube channel soon. And I've been
build it up. You know how to do analytics. You know how to just kind of invite people. You can just let it organically grow.
Yeah, and the thing is that when you do a live stream, there's no editing. It's just you. You press the button and say, "We're going live. We're live." So I'm
maybe answer questions or say hi.
Yeah, you just say hi to people. Hey, how you doing? How is your day going? Talk to people, and then also in the chat, you want them to make decisions of this video game. So, hey, should we go left or right? What should we name this character? What should we do?
Sometimes people go, if you go left, don't get mad at me because
right.
real quick, Jeff. We're just gonna say hi to a couple more people. We got Hollywood Reseller Tino's here. We did say hi to Jen's Closet Gems. Thank you, Jennifer Hayes, for being here. Hythe Gold, who was one of our guests about a couple weeks back. That's the Aqua Girl was there. I saw Jarhead.
Jarhead Entrepreneur was here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There was a question too for Jeff. I put it on the screen. He's asking if you've interviewed Gil Daddy yet. Have you had a chance to?
No, I've reached out to him twice. They are not active on Instagram or on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I've reached out to him to try to get him on. And twice I've tried to reach out to him and we haven't got it set up yet. But as soon as I get a chance or an opportunity to get a hold of them, because I don't have their phone number directly, but some of the other people here in Florida does. So I'll see if I can get a friend of a friend to reach out to him to get him on the show. But I haven't had him on yet. And like I said, they still do reselling. They just haven't posted videos lately.
Yeah.
Baldy Pal Picking. Hello.
Hey.
He's going to be tomorrow night, right? And I'm trying to think. Yeah, we said hi to Ella. Flippin' Eric was here too. Just thank you for everybody. Just shout out everybody in the chat. Thank you. We have Jeff, better known as eBay Addicts. We're really going into almost 40 minutes. We've been going, and this is. I like turning the seat, don't you, Luis? Turn the seat, letting him be the guest. He gets to sit for once. Luis, what you got for him, bro? Do you have any questions that you've been wondering about Jeff? Because Jeff has a mighty full of knowledge, and my question is going to come after you. Why do you get to go twice, and I only got to go once? On his channel.
Well, I can't answer that. That's something Jeff would have to answer. But but the question I'm going to ask Jeff is: so, what got you into the whole YouTube thing? What got you motivated to start it?
Actually, it was my brother was talking to me one day, and he was like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "You should have your own YouTube channel." And to me, I don't know if you guys don't know me outside of YouTube. I'm a very, I don't know what he would like, not concerned. I'm a homebody person. I'm not a outgoing. Reserved. Yeah, I'm not an outgoing personality. Like if you guys see me somewhere at the gas station, or I'm not like, "Hey, how you doing? That's not me. I'm more chilled, a quiet person, and kind of keep to myself.
Gas, leave me alone.
Right. But my brother was just like, he's like, "Hey, bro, you could help people." He's like, "You could help people," and I was just like, "Okay." And so I sit here and thought about it, and I was like, you know what? If I can help people the way other people on YouTube have helped me, the way Gil Daddy's helped me, the way Reyes the Entrepreneur has helped me, the way Rally Roots and Rockstar Flipper has kind of helped influence me, maybe I can give back to the community. So I was kind of doing it, to be honest, like the first 6 months, I didn't even want to show my face on YouTube. So if you guys go watch my old videos, you'll just see like me in third person, like outsourcing or showing you guys what sold or whatever, or showing you guys my shed or my backyard. It's just me doing third person because I wasn't really comfortable on camera, and I was kind of like dipping my toes in the water. But what happened was we had this, it was like a reseller meetup that we all had. It was like eBay up front, and just so happens I was there and I got to meet a Rockstar Flipper and Rally Roots and these big YouTubers in person. So we're all standing around in a circle, and Ryan from Rally Roots, he came up and gave me a big hug. Rockstar Flipper was there shooting a YouTube video with me, and I was just kind of like, at the time, I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if my heart is in it. I don't know if I want to give it 110% energy into it. And I was kind of like on shaky ground. But once I met these guys in person and they were real honest, hardworking, down to earth people, I just thought in my mind, I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. You know,
I'm glad you said that, because that talks about what we try to approach is that the show that we're doing here is being mindful merchant, but being a YouTube, specifically a YouTube content creator, you are kind of selling yourself. You know what I mean? And so that is part of the entrepreneurship. And it, you know, I'll say this much. I really don't like making videos, you know, like it's a lot of work. I'm kind of, not that I'm lazy, it's just that, you know, it's like you said, I don't always want to show my face. But like you said, can you help somebody? That to me is a very key point for being, you know, a reseller, a merchant, that is being mindful. You want to be there to help other people because, you know, your heart's in the right place. But it's like, this is not an easy thing to do, you know. Sometimes it's kind of a lonely thing, you know.
Yeah, and making content isn't really that difficult. It's just getting started. Once you get started and you get momentum, it's almost like you're trying to jump in a swimming pool and you know the water is going to be cold and you just kind of dip your toe in because you don't want to be freezing. Once you just jump in head first, it'll get easier, guys. I promise you that. Because like I said, everybody that you watch on YouTube, all these big content creators, everybody starts at zero. So if you're on the fence and you're struggling, just jump in and get started. I've actually made it a video on my playlist, and it's like 5 tips for content creators to help you go from 0 to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Because I started at 0. You guys have saw me, and right now I'm almost at 4,000 subscribers. I'm like 10 away from 4,000 subscribers, and we're going to do another giveaway here on my channel probably within the next week.
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. I think you're one of the folks that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a criticism. It's just an observation. I think you don't show your number count. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just because I have so many people that are always on you all the time, and they're like, it's almost like if I came to you and you were trying to lose weight, and I said, hey, Lone Star Picker, how much do you weigh today? And it's one of those things where it's almost like every day it's like, hey, how much do you weigh? It's almost like when you ask a woman how old she is, and it's like, hey, how old are you? And she's like,
how many
almost 40.
And it becomes this place because I will say I've seen other. I'm not naming names, and it's not a criticism. Once again, this is an observation. I see other YouTubers use it as kind of a stance of posture. They posture. Well, it is. You know, this many, you know, it's like
all it is just there's some people that's been on YouTube longer than others. You've seen some people recently, WBK, Harry Tornado, some of these guys recently crossed 100,000 subscribers, but they didn't just crawl out of bed and do it overnight. No. It takes time. But
that's another good point, is that they also work hard. They work like you do, and you worked hard to get those. You said you have around 4,000. That's nothing to shake your nose at. But I like your humility about it. You know, you're like, I don't need to, you know, brag about it or anything, but that you doing it, just that's all that really matters. You know, but
the thing is, I feel like there's so many content creators, they get so caught up and worried about how many likes did I get, how many views did I get, how many subscribers do I get, and I'm just like, okay, the reason why I'm on YouTube to begin with is to try to help people. So what difference does it make? Honestly, if you sit here and you say, oh well, I've got 5,000 subscribers and Jeff only has 4,000. It's like, okay, great. It's kind of like if I have a car that's 600 horsepower, your car is 300 horsepower. We're both going to the same place. We're both going to the same destination. We both can only go 55 miles an hour. That's it.
But the other part of that equation is, yes, your car can go either this fast to point A to point B, or you can just have a nice Pinto and it gets you where you're going. You know what I'm saying? If you're satisfied with that, as long as you know how to fix the car and do the thing and do the work, get to where you're going. Some people may go, well, yeah, but Louie, do you want to, you want to be in that pit and taking your time? Well, that's not my point. Is like you said, worrying about it. Understand that you're carrying this vessel of knowledge and energy, and like you said, there's so much insight and everything else that goes along with being a content creator. Because I'll tell you what, just not just doing YouTube, but doing Instagram could take a lot of work too. You know, if you don't time it right, know how to like strategize a nice thumbnail, and to me, that's about. I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot just from the content creation of Instagram, and I realized, oh, the same analytics apply. It's different. It's a different method, and it's still sales and marketing. And I'll tell you what, I've done sales out of Instagram. Have you ever done sales through Instagram, like
No, I mainly use Instagram to either promote something I'm doing on YouTube, or I use it as a way for me to reach out to other content creators and try to collab with them. That's 90% of the stuff. What I'll do is I'll reach out to people, and sometimes we don't even collab. I just reach out to people and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Just like I reached out to Cali Reseller Luis last weekend, and I said, "Hey, man, how are you doing? How is your day going?" And by the way, Lone Star Picker, I have had you on the channel twice. I had you once on for an interview, and another time I had you on for a listing live. Do you remember? It was me, you, Cali Reseller Luis.
Oh, that's right. And wait a minute. And then it was actually 3 times. So both him and I have 3 times. Him and I, I said, one time you reached out to me and I said, no, let me bring Luis. We want to promote. We haven't talked much about.
Yeah, we've had you guys on like 3 different times. Yeah,
we've been on twice. About that. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, ATL Flipper? What's up, man? How are you doing?
The ATL Flippers here, everybody. Welcome them. And there was somebody else that just came in by the name of. Hold on one second. Do you see that? Jennifer, the Treasure Noir.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome.
Treasure Noir.
Have you ever had issues with trolls?
Hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Channel? Yeah.
Trolls on my channel. Yeah, I mean, once or twice, that's part of putting yourself out there. I mean, because you got to understand, like I said, I'm a big guy. Okay, I'm probably 6'2", 350. I used to be a former semi-pro football player. Like I'm a big, I'm like a big heavy-set guy, and that's one of the reasons I was kind of hesitant to make YouTube videos, because there's not a lot of 6'2", big 350-pound guys walking around shooting YouTube videos. So that's why when I got started, I just wanted to. We're
gonna work on you getting that headroom up above there, because if you're a big guy, you might as well just show yourself and just.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. You guys can see I'm just a big person. You can see, but it's just like I said, it's just people in the community like that. Actually, when I got to meet Reyes the entrepreneur in person, got to meet Rally Roots, got to meet Rockstar Flipper, and when I got to hang out with people that had like Reyes the entrepreneur that has 400,000 subscribers, and he wasn't even born here. He was born in Mexico. And he makes, $20 grand a month from his YouTube channel. And he was like, bro, just get started. You're going to figure the rest out along the way. Just get started and just be yourself. And have the business advice.
People don't want to take that first step. And it's like, what would you tell a new, both new content creator and somebody that wants to get into reselling and or both? What would you tell them just getting started? What other advice would you suggest to them?
Well, I have a video. If you guys go on my channel, I have a video. It's called My 5 Top Tips to Help Content Creators Go From 0 to 1,000. And the biggest thing is it's going to take time. Like when I went from 0 to 1,000, I think it took me like 10 months of just putting up content. So you're going to keep in mind it's going to take you a long time to get there.
That's
and then
besides that,
quick, I would say, hey, you want to collaborate with other content creators. That's important. You want to be active in the community. One thing that I do that a lot of other content creators don't do is I go and leave comments almost every day, every other day. I will go through all the other.
You are impeccable. You are impeccable. Yeah, every time I go and I'll go snoop on this guy's channel, you're one of the first ones to write something. You at least, hey, good show, or something simple. That's, that helps the analytics, and it's greatly appreciated. But it also shows you're watching,
Yeah, I watch a lot of content, but you have to understand, think about when you leave a comment on someone else's video, it's almost like you driving past a billboard on the highway, and you keep seeing this billboard every day. Sooner or later, you're going to be like, hey, I saw this law firm everywhere. I need a law firm. Let me call this guy. So I comment on everybody else's channels, especially the bigger channels. So what you want to do is you want to find people in your niche. So what I do is I go to people's channels like Reyes the Entrepreneur, Rally Roots, Rockstar Flipper, Harry Tornado, and I'll go to their videos, and then I'll hit the bell button. So as soon as their video is released and they have 10,000, 20,000 viewers on their channel,
you're there.
The first person they're going to see in the comment section is me. I'm the first person there. So did I get to collab with that person? No, but I'm the first person there that they see.
But you are communicating, and that's a great thing. Nana Tink Treasure's last comment, if you would so kindly, Luis. Yeah. So yeah, you are amazing. So we just thank you for being on our show today, Jeff. We are you going to work tonight, by the way?
I am supposed to go to work. Yeah, Monday is payday, and that's the only thing I don't like about my job is I don't have direct deposit. So I have to go to the bank, pick up my check, and pay a few bills. But other than that, the cool thing is I'm good. Whenever I want to work, I just text the dispatch and say I want to work. And whenever I want to be off, I can be off.
But are you gonna make it to the bank today?
The bank stays open here. I'm on the East Coast, so it's 4:45 here. They have a drive-through that stays open till 7. So I'm good. And the company that I work for, they just they put my paycheck in a mailbox outside. So they already know that I'm a night person. So they just leave my check for me in the mailbox, and I just come by and pick it up. But yeah,
that's nice. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as advice, like I said, the first thing that you need to do is get started, and just remember that all the other big content creators, all these WBK, Harry Tornado, Rockstar Flipper, Rally Roots, everybody starts at 0. You don't wake up and say, hey, I have 100,000 subscribers. Everybody starts at 0. You're going to kind of grow at your own pace. Like I said, try to collaborate with other people in the community and leave comments. Jump in other people's live streams. You have to kind of get out of your shell.
Good suggestions. The collaboration is really important because what you're doing is it's not just sharing, the content that you're creating with somebody else, but you're making a relationship and you're giving that opportunity for not only for them to learn something new that maybe you can share, but you get to learn from them, which is greatly important because
like I said earlier,
we all don't know it all,
Yeah, I learn stuff all the time. Like I said, just last week I had that guy on eBay Poshman, and because I had him on the show, I went out to Ross and bought a pair of shoes. I'm like, let me try this. I'm just going to spend $20, buy these pair of shoes, and see what happens. So hey, thanks for coming by, Westside Gary. We appreciate you.
Hey,
but yeah,
anybody that you would like to interview. And anybody that like that's been like kind of like a little bit unapproachable, maybe because they're busy, they're not easy to get a hold of because they may have a big channel, maybe. I don't know. Or is it just,
most of the people that I really want to bring on the channel are people that kind of inspired me and influenced me to help me get started. Because if they can feel that same energy, those same vibes from those people, then they're going to be like, now they're going to feel what I felt, So people like that I've already, believe it or not, I've had Rally Roots on my channel twice. I've had Rockstar Flipper on. I've had Reyes the Entrepreneur on. But probably the next person that I would really like to get is Gildaddy. If I can somehow catch up with his email and get a hold of him and just be like, hey, this is the guy that helped me get started in reselling and just on the channel. So that would be a really great guest. And then
you're going to be like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, just picking his brain. It's going to be a great. I will post it online. If you guys see it, if you'll see Gildaddy on there, you guys got to tune in and check it out. But yeah, other than that, I've had most of the other people on. I've had Harry Tornado on. I've had I've been wanting to catch up with the Auction Professor, but I've had Primetime Treasure Hunter on, Harry Tornado, Renzi. I really want to catch up with Renzi again because they're really killing it in the shoe game. They just got this big warehouse. And I have so many questions that I want to ask them. So I want to get a hold of Renzi again. And but most of the people that I've really wanted to reach out to, I've had on the channel already because there's so many people in the community. You got to remember,
and you know what? You got like so many other new people coming in all the time. And there's probably still people that you haven't had a chance because like as a host, Luis and I understand, we respect, it's hard to get everybody in. Logistics are just, it's a killer thing. Real quick, move on to another question. What is any books that you've read in the past or maybe you're currently reading that's been like a helpful influence? Do you have anything off the top of your head or do you know?
Yeah, books that I really like. If you guys haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that would be like the #1 book I would tell you to read because there's so many differences that people need to understand between what's an asset and what's a liability. People think that, I own a home and my home is an asset. No, what's an asset is something that brings cash flow into you every month, and a liability is money that takes money out of your pocket every month. So if you don't listen to nothing else Jeff says today, go read that book because it'll change your outlook on life. You'll start thinking that, hey, I don't need this jet ski. I don't need this new boat. I don't need this new sports car. What I want to do is find avenues of things that are generating revenue so you can have multiple streams of income coming in. So that would be very, very important. If you guys don't know, if you haven't been to the gas station lately, if you haven't been to the grocery store lately, if you haven't been, the post office is raising their rates in August. So the cost of living is going to keep going up. And if your income doesn't rise to go with, like you don't want to be on a fixed income and then your expenses keep rising. So if you don't read any other book, read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you don't want to read it, do audio. Do audio books, and also I would read the Dave Ramsey's book, and then there's another one called the Millionaire Next Door. And if you don't want to go buy the book, most of them are on YouTube for free as an audio book.
I was going to say, I love that because like I was listening to one I would suggest, and that was, you're going to laugh, but some people go, who is 50 Cent, you know, the hip hop artist. He actually has a book on business that's free on YouTube, and he talks about all entrepreneurship. It's been a really helpful. It's nice to see his perspective. And there was little nuggets that he had in. Listen, we want to be respectful of your time. We're really close to there, everything. You guys, if you don't know Jeff, check him out. He offers a service to YouTube for us as resellers, but us also as content creators.
Definitely.
This is Cali Reseller Luis. I'm the Lone Star Picker, and this is eBay Addicts. And like I said, his information is down below. We want to greatly thank you. Luis, what do you got to close us out here, buddy?
No, I just want to thank Jeff for joining us today. It's always good to, to catch up with Jeff because I know he's real busy. I'm busy. And I know everyone's busy doing their thing. So
it's nice to put him in the hot seat for once.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody who showed up. Of course, to show up every Monday to support us for this.
Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, thank you guys. And don't forget, tomorrow is our auction, our Tuesday night auction. Me, myself, and this guy down here on my channel tomorrow. So
we get a special guest too.
Yes, we do. We have Baldy Paul Picking on with us, so it should be awesome.
Well, what would you like to end us with, Jeff? You got any last little?
Yeah. I have something I want to talk about real quick, guys. Be very mindful of the people that you have and your influence that's around you. Probably 90% to 95% of the people. You have to understand, when you're an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, you're a risk taker by nature. 95% of the population, they're not risk takers. All they want to do is go to work their 9-to-5 job, go home and watch, Seinfeld or the Jerry Springer Show or Wheel of Fortune. Right. That's 90% of the general public. So don't hang out with these people. They're not risk takers. If they're not going where you want to go, then you just don't hang out with them. I'm just telling you, because there's a difference between people who are risk takers, and then there's probably 95% of the people that are not risk takers. Don't hang out with the people that are not risk takers. So that's what I would say. Be very mindful of the group of people that you have around you. Because if I go out and I say, hey, I want to have 10,000 items on my eBay store, they're going to be like, what? What you doing that for? You have a job, you can pay your bills. Or if you're surrounded with other resellers, they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to have 10,000 items on my eBay store too.
Such a good tip, because people that are stagnant, they don't go anywhere.
That's what I'm trying to say. You want to be surrounded with like-minded people that are going to influence you, because whether or not you realize it, subconsciously or unconsciously, these people influence you. You don't want to be surrounded by negative influence, negative vibes. Only be around people who are like-minded people, because people that aren't, you're going to be up here. They're going to try to bring you down to their level. They're not going to try to elevate you. They're not going to have your back and support you. So that's something I just wanted to get out of my system. And if you guys aren't subscribed, go subscribe to Cali Reseller Luis and the Lone Star Picker. I want both of these guys to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. They do a good job and they hustle and work hard. So go subscribe to both of their channels. That's all I have for today.
All right.
Thanks, you guys, for being here. Once again, shout out to everybody in the live chat. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. Everybody, maintain your focus and let's continue to elevate. Take those suggestions. Jeff has some really good. And watch the show. He's got more golden nuggets to come. See you guys.
See you
guys. Bye, everybody.
Have a great Monday.
Bye.